Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Next, we have another film which uses the railroad as a backdrop, but unlike our last movie, this next one is a lighthearted comedy. It's called Without Reservations. It's a film that stars Claudette Colbert as a lady novelist. That's what they called him in those days. And it's Claudette teamed for the first and only time in a film with the big, burly John Wayne. This time the Duke isn't leading a cavalry unit or fighting in a war, although he does play a World War II Marine. But he's a Leatherneck who meets Claudette on a train. And she gets the idea that he'd be the perfect guy to play the hero in the movie version of her latest book. Not too realistic a plot, of course, but that movie came in an era when the plots of romantic comedies rarely were logical. This movie from RKO in 1946 is directed by Mervyn LeRoy, who rarely in those days ventured far from his home studio of MGM, nor did he venture very often into comedy. So when he went to RKO to make this comedy, it was considered quite an event. So much so that Mervyn LeRoy was able to coax a few pals into making cameo appearances in the film. So besides the stars who do get prominent billing, you'll also be seeing Jack Benny briefly showing up as an autograph hound, also gossip columnist Luella Parsons playing Luella Parsons, and even Cary Grant was visiting the set one day and was talked into doing a brief scene dancing with Claudette. And that unexpectedly turned out to be quite a historic moment. It's the only time that Cary Grant and Claudette Colbert would ever appear on screen together. Now, you'd assume they would team many times, but no, they never did. John Wayne at this point was not yet a superstar, but on the precipice of becoming one. That would happen 2 years later when the westerns Fort Apache and Red River were both released. But here's the Duke, relaxing and having some fun, the last time he'd ever appear in a modern romantic comedy. From 1946, Without Reservations.